Hello, Melissa Crook here from the F.E.E.L podcast. Welcome back this week. Today we have periods, power, and plastic-free solutions, redefining menstrual health with Amy Orr. This is going to be a good one, folks. Stay tuned. The ways to engage with this episode are as follows. If questions come up about your period or sexual health, write them down. Take them to the doctor's office and ask. Or if your friends have any experience with your questions, talk to them about it. It shouldn't be taboo to talk about normal functions of the female body. And you're not alone in your situation, though it may feel like you are. There are so many taboos and stigmas around this topic. And I'm going to add another thing to this. If your practitioner gaslights you in any way and shuts you down or doesn't give you answers, look for someone else. There's somebody else out there that is wanting and willing to help you. If you don't know where to turn, reach out to us. Go to our website, embracinglayers.com. Go to that connection page. Send us a question. We have women and resources that can give you guidance and direction and at least point you in the right trajectory of the kind of support you're looking for. We don't have a lot of doctors, but we've got resources. But you deserve to be heard and listened to and honored on this topic. And I want to really emphasize that today. I hope you enjoy this really informative, really insightful, authentic, honest conversation with our friend Amy Orr. Thanks so much for being with us. Hello and welcome to the F.E.E.L podcast today. I'm here with another great connection and friend that I've met through our friends at Podmatch. And this one is coming to us from the beautiful Emerald Isle in Ireland. So we're excited to have her here today. I love these connections that this work makes possible to make all over the world, because as you listen to Amy's story today, it's globally relatable. And the resources she's going to share with us are globally relatable. So I'm super excited to have Amy Orr here with us today. Amy describes herself as a learner, curious, passionate, and angry. And she said, the more I learn, the angrier I am. And I love that, because women are afraid to say they're angry. I'm like, no, let's be angry. And let's use that as a motivator to move needles and change narratives and make this the place we want it to be, and all of us doing that together. So let's embrace it. Yes, we've got to process it and move through it so it doesn't come out in ugly ways, but we can use it as a motivator for change. And that's one of the many ways that Amy is showing up in the world. So Amy Orr, welcome to the F.E.E.L podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes, it's lovely being here. I really enjoyed the panel conversation. So yeah, it's nice to kind of be able to talk about this a little bit more.
Yes. And go back and visit our period panel conversation on our YouTube channel. If you missed that, lots of great resources there from Amy and a couple of other women from our network. So we will link that in the show notes as well. So you get a 2-for-1 deal with Amy this week. And for always, not just this week, it's there forever for you to have access to. But we're going to get right into it. Amy's a busy woman. She wears a lot of hats, like so many of us. And so talk to me about prioritizing self-care in your life and what that looks like for you.
Prioritizing self-care for me, first and foremost, is audiobooks.
Yeah.
I loved a good book. I always loved a good book. But like, my kids are 8 and 10 now. But since having kids, I found that I never had time to read. And then come the evening times, I'd get 2 pages into a book before falling asleep.
Yeah.
And then there's always something to do, as a busy mom. And especially like wanting to get into the garden, stuff like that. Bringing the kids to the beach, but not wanting to bring a physical book.
Yeah.
Just audiobooks.
Okay. That's awesome.
I have to say, I'm big into my smut.
Yeah. A good escape is that can be very therapeutic.
Like very therapeutic. Yeah. Yeah. And like I would never used to be like I was always kind of into like fantasy. Like I grew up reading Lord of the Rings, his
Yeah.
Dark Materials trilogy, Game of Thrones. I'm a bit of a nerd. Um, but yeah, and then I've discovered Akatar last year because a friend of mine put me onto it. And if you don't know what Akatar is, the Court of Thorns and Roses, it's kind of like it's for people who grew up reading Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and haven't
Okay.
read anything in years and are looking to get back into reading. This is a good place to start. So I
Okay.
did that last year, and now I've moved beyond
Yeah.
beyond Akatar at this stage. But yeah, there's so many great stories out there, and I love the audiobooks. I could just put my headphones on, I can get out into the garden, I could sit there on the beach while the kids are playing, watch them whilst listening to, you know.
Yeah. Well, you're incorporating a couple of other activities in there too that are great. Getting outside, getting in the garden, being in nature, being with the
Yeah.
earth, being at the beach, being by the ocean. I mean, and then you get so there's really multiple ways that you've
Yeah.
weaved this in.
But it's amazing. Like you just stick them on, do your housework. I'm so productive as well when I'm stuck into like a 7-series audiobook.
Yeah.
I get so much done. So much done. My house is spotless.
Well, because you want to keep listening. So
Yeah, mommy's busy.
Mommy's still cleaning.
I'm just
I love that though, because you're filling your cup while you're doing you're doing one of those things. Yeah. Hey, you mean it's a both and I think that's a great example of using the time you have. It's like, okay, this is the time I have. This is available. I can fill my cup and do an activity that really nourishes me and re-energizes me and fills me at the same time as I'm doing this other thing. I don't have to wait and just hone in on this one thing.
That's it. Yeah. And there's no guilt either because you are actually doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's all the memes that come with it, which are highly entertaining. So the thing is called pebbling. Is it pebbling? Have you heard of that term?
I haven't.
Where you kind of send your friends like little bit like memes and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I haven't heard the term.
I can't remember which bird did it, but it was either penguins or something else.
Okay.
But they leave each other kind of like little gifts just to show that they care, and that's the equivalent of us sending each other memes nowadays.
Yes.
It's called pebbling anyway.
Okay. My daughters probably know that. My daughters are there. I've got our middle and our youngest. They're like 28 and 26 now, but they are the meme. They can find the right meme for the moment in the most hysterical and appropriate way. I mean, my husband are like, and they have a knack for it. And so we'll be in a family chat or a conversation and one or both of them will start, and it's like a meme off. They're almost like competing with each other to see, who can outdo the other.
There's a Schitt's Creek meme.
That's my middle daughter's favorite one. Like 90% of hers come from that show and from Laura.
Amazing. Yes. Amazing. I've never known a series to have so many.
I know.
Memes.
And they nail them all. And
they do.
I think that's a fun part, though. I mean, I think we don't talk enough about the fact that those kinds of things that make us laugh, that make us think of people that we care about, that, oh my gosh, so-and-so is going to love this. They've got to see this one. That's a self-care piece.
It is. They bring so much joy, especially there's so much dark stuff going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
And just little snippets of joy like that. Yeah.
They can really shift where you are in a space. It's funny. There's been a lot of conversations the last couple of weeks with different panelists and guests as I've been recording and putting content out, talking about this very thing of this space we are in the world right now and where we can find our moments of joy and create some stability, because so many of us have been feeling so overamped about
Yeah.
what's going on and trying to like get our nervous systems, like the things that we've been doing traditionally are no longer meeting our needs. Like we need more of something. And for me, it took me like 3 months to figure out what I needed. And for me, I figured out I need to be out in nature more with the people I love. And so that was the thing but I think these memes, I think if you,
so audiobooks.
Okay. Audiobooks,
It's
good memes, get to the beach, get in the garden.
Escape into a fantasy world and forget about all the shit that's going on.
I think we could, a friend of mine, Gretchen Skozer has, she and her former business partner have a podcast called The Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. And I think we could have a spin-off called The Shit That Goes On in Our World.
Yes.
It could just be a debrief every week. And we could bring all of our favorite memes to kind of represent the moments for heaven.
It could just be memes.
I know. Oh my gosh. Okay. So good. All right. Confidently setting boundaries. You found spaces and ways to incorporate these activities that nourish you. Talk to me. Boundaries is a new word in our vocabulary over the last 10 years, I feel like, but it's not a new need. We're just kind of naming it more.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's a new concept to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I personally think it's something that we all should incorporate a lot earlier than we actually do. Boundaries for me would be, and it takes a lot to get to this stage, but just saying no.
Yeah.
If there's something that you really don't want to do, and I say this to my kids, if there's a situation that makes you feel really uncomfortable, or someone is making you feel uncomfortable, you're somewhere, or there's something that you really, really just don't want to do, just say no.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. And I've started taking that on board myself. No.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such a powerful word. It's such a simple word, but it's such a hard word for people to get out. But so liberating.
Yeah. I think
relearning, isn't it?
It is. It's very much for relearning and unlearning of narratives and stigmas that have been told to us, going back to when we were little girls. And, it's the idea of, and several guests have talked about this, and we've talked about the fact that, whenever you're saying yes or no to something, Valerie Rivera, a guest in season 4, and she's coming back, she's going to be on again this season. She said something so like simple but profound. She's like, remember, whatever you're saying yes to, you're saying no to something else. You better be okay with that thing you're saying no to, or that's a clue that that's a yes that's maybe not for right now, or maybe not at all. And that's okay. And
it is okay. It's really hard though.
It is because we have been taught to like, and learning that like, just because it's a good thing doesn't mean it's the right thing for us. There are a bazillion good things out there in the world. That doesn't, but they're not all for all to do all of them all the time. I mean, so I think it's just that like, okay, make a deal with myself. I'm no longer going to abandon myself. So if I say yes to this, do I feel like I'm abandoning myself? And it's like, if the answer is yes, I do, then the answer is no to that thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did you have a kind of a point in time where you came to realizing like, this has to start being a part of my regular existence?
I suppose when Juno was born, she's my second child.
Yeah.
So Finn was 2. She was just born. And it almost started with me just not caring about how tidy my house was. I'm like, do you know what? 2 kids. I'm not going to apologize for the state of my house. Okay. It's
Yeah.
not always going to be this way. And it's something that my mom always said. She was like, enjoy them. She was like, I'll always regret not leaving the housework for another day and spending more time with you guys. So I was like, okay. And I just stopped apologizing to people. When people come into the house, you'd automatically be like, I remember I knew a woman, and I'd go over to her house, and we both had two small kids, and she was like, oh, excuse the state of my house. And the house was spotless. And I'm like,
yeah.
Sure, yeah. Those people. I'm like, and then like a friend would come into my house, and my house would be in actual state.
Yeah.
Dog hair, tumbleweeds. I'm like, I'm not sorry.
This is the season of life we're in. You're welcome.
I'm like, if you want to pick up the broom, it's right there.
Great.
I'd
love the help.
Hang out and wash. Where their feet is. Laundry basket's right there. And I'm like, yeah, I've got enough going on. So that, I suppose that's where my boundaries started. And then like I was always self-employed, so people just assume, her little business. And it was always like available to people, and I just I really had to set boundaries for that, and just stop, just say no, like I can't, I'm working. If the kids wanted to go next door, if their cousins wanted to come over, I was like, no, I'm working, but if they want to take you next door, they can. But no, I'm actually, I'm working, and I'd rather you guys just stayed here and watched TV, so I don't have to worry about where you are, and I can keep an eye on you. And to be honest, they're so easy, like they're just so used to kind of entertaining each other, and they play together really well. So
that's nice.
It is. Yeah. So I mean, Finn is just mad into his Lego, so he'll just entertain himself for hours. So he's always been really good like that. So it's they've definitely, the kids made it easier for sure.
Yeah.
You get to a point where you just, like, families, we all, like me and my siblings, we all have our own kids now. We'll help each other if we can, but we can't always be there all the time, and that goes for everybody,
Absolutely.
But I definitely think, like, for family, you need those boundaries with family for sure, because family think that because your family, you'll say yes, so they just assume you'll say yes. No.
I love that, though. You brought up a couple of really key points. That assumption, and you've communicated this. So this assumption, she's working from home, so she's there, she's available, and you're like, no, working. So just pretend I'm at my office, because my office is here. But you communicated that rather than letting people impose that upon you. You realize that was a no, that was a boundary. Also, it's such a gift when your kids can learn how to play and entertain themselves and don't have to be entertained all the time. You're doing them such a service there, in that. And also with the family piece, I think generationally, we're starting to see shifts here. It's like, we don't show up all the time everywhere to the detriment of ourselves, and with codependency and trauma bonds and all those things. And we said how that we love each other, but we have these things going on. And when one family member, starts doing it, it kind of gives permission for the other family members too. And also, and creating a culture around that of, like, we got to do things in a way that's healthy. So when we show up and are with each other, we're present. We want to be there. We're not feeling like, here I am again. I mean, I think that's such a great point.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not easy. I mean, you feel really guilty. You're like, I'm now the asshole who said no. You have to just get past that. Yeah, I don't want people to hate me because I said no, but like, I really just don't want to. So and they'll get over it. They'll get over it. Honestly.
Yeah. And they don't
Like,
want you in that irritated state anyway. I mean, nobody wins.
that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
think
like when
that's
I'm listening to my audiobook, it's like,
exactly.
don't interrupt me. You wouldn't like me when I'm interrupted.
100%. That's so good. Oh my gosh. Well, this next piece here, and really all of it ties in. This next piece here, the connection between mental, emotional, physical, spiritual health. You have very real experiences with this. You have your own journey that has informed the work that you do now and how you show up in the world. You've had your own period health journey, endometriosis that was just recently diagnosed. I mean, so and you saw the need for real conversations, real honest talk, starting with our children, with our kids, with our middle schoolers, and letting them know what's actually happening in their bodies so they're equipped and know the questions to ask so that they're not waiting until they are well into adulthood and parenting the next
Mm-hmm.
generation and suffering and before they have these resources. So and
Yeah.
the impact but talk to me too, because there's not just the physical, but how that has impacted you emotionally and mentally and really driven you to do this work you do today.
Yeah. So I'm not diagnosed yet.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No. So I did start the process in January. I was talking
Yeah.
to you about them. But I still don't have a diagnosis. But I
Okay.
am heading to. I'm traveling to a little backstory. So I've always had painful periods. Um, and I was speaking with a friend last year. She made me realize that this level of pain isn't normal. And I think I've just been in denial for the last 21 years. So I went to my GP back in January. She referred me to a gynecologist in Waterford City. But there is a 70 or a 57-week wait list to see her.
Goodness.
She takes on both private and public patients, and that would have been like private. So my doctor referred me to another gynecologist. So I had to travel like an hour to see her. Now, this gynecologist was recommended to my doctor by a colleague of hers.
Mm.
So she didn't really know anything about her, but I put her name up in my endometriosis support group, and I got a really good,
Okay.
it was really positive comment about her. So I went in really optimistic, my doctor was like, okay, you need a laparoscopy, so I'm going to refer you to a gynecologist, and then a gynecologist has to refer you for that.
Okay.
So I went in, and I'm a 37-year-old woman. I know my own body.
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing my doctor since I was 18. She knows me as well. And she knows that I can advocate for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But this gynecologist was just so awful. It wasn't outright rude or anything, but she was so condescending. And I came out of the appointment, and it was such a waste of time and money. And I came out of the appointment, and I sat in the car, and I had a little cry because I was just so frustrated. Okay, not for me. Okay, because I always knew that I was going to go travel to this clinic, this endometriosis center that specializes in endometriosis. There's gynecologists that work with it. A full disciplinary team of surgeons that specialize in endometriosis. So I always knew that I would be going here.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured I might as well see a gynecologist here while I was at it and
Yeah.
see what all the fuss is about. But yeah, I'm still none the wiser. So, and I cried because it was so upsetting for all these young women who don't know. And as soon I sat down, and she wanted me to go on the coil, and I was like, I don't want to go on the coil.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, okay. She's like, then we'll put you on. I don't know the name of it. decaceptal or something. So it's
Okay.
basically a medically induced menopause. She's like, we see how you do without your womb,
Oh,
how you do without your womb, and then we might consider like, and then we can,
wow.
depending on how you get on without your womb for a few months, we can look at a hysterectomy. And I was like, whoa,
Wow. Like, that's the best you can do?
like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I was like, do I have it or not? Like,
Yeah.
just and like she didn't recommend a laparoscopy at all. She didn't refer me for one. She wanted me to get pelvic ultrasound again, an
Jeez.
updated one, because even though it's not a really good screening tool for endometriosis, might necessarily be picked up by pelvic ultrasound. So yeah, so I'm back at square one, but I have booked
Wow.
surgery for Greece, so I'm traveling there at the end of September.
Okay.
So I have a
Wow.
consultation, and then I have a pre-op, and then an operation date if I need
Okay.
surgery. Not,
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's that. And I was giving a talk last week. It was an amazing talk to girls. They were between 15 and 21 years of age. They're kind of in like a post, it's not mainstream school, so it's school
Okay.
for school leavers, I suppose.
Yeah.
They do like applied leaving certificate exams and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
um, and they were just asking me questions about what do they do next, So we were talking about endometriosis and adenomyosis and PCOS, and they were like, what do we do? Where do we go? And I actually just didn't have the answers for them, and it was really bad. It was really upsetting.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm angry. I'm like,
Wow.
like one girl was waiting to see her GP for 3 months because she's in so much pain.
Jeez.
Has to go on the coil, but she can't go on the coil without getting pelvic ultrasound, and she can't get her GP to refer her for pelvic ultrasound.
Wow.
So she's just in pain every month.
Yeah.
And she's just waiting. And it's like, how long does she have to wait for? And then what kind of advice is she going to get when she does
Yeah.
get seen,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, and the more I'm learning, the angrier I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's just like, this shouldn't be this hard. And we, you were on a panel with two other women who have resources that they offer, that people can try that. And these things work for some people and they don't work for some people.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it's, and we have those resources on our website, and we'll include them in the show notes in this one as well. Just so if it's something y'all, if you're listening, are like, this is me too. If you want to try what Isabella Thor and Valencia San Luis utilize to see if it might work for you, we will we will provide that for you. Also, we have our medical practices and practitioners and medical schools have to do better by women in this area. They have to do better. There has to be better answers. And I think there's nothing more frustrating to me than when a woman gaslights another woman. That to me is like, that's so anti-helpful. Like, we need to be supporting each other. And we'll be talking about this in a couple of minutes, the importance of showing up unapologetically and supporting other women in living unapologetically.
Yeah.
And so I guess, my ask of the medical community is, please get curious about this, and please assign more than just assign actual time and research to help women who struggle with this and get them a plethora of resources, because our bodies are all unique, and some bodies will respond to these resources that we know about now, and some bodies won't. And so finding your space and place, but you should never be gaslit. You should always be supported, and it needs to really be motivated by curiosity and empathy and a desire for women to have real answers and choices. And this impact, that this kind of the discouragement, the anger, what it does to your mental health, the anxiety about what's happening with your body. This is a classic example of the impacts these things have on our mental, emotional, physical health. What I love
Mm-hmm.
about you are so determined, and you keep fighting for this and for yourself every day. Talk to people, and this goes nicely into our next talking point of showing up for yourself and other women unapologetically. You have educated yourself. Talk to about how you talk to um, teenagers specifically, but you
Yeah.
talked about this, got the greatest little model of what our organs look like that I've ever seen in my life. It's my favorite thing. We talked about it extensively on the panel. We made her get it out and show it to us. She's got it right here again. But talk to me about, I love it so much. But talk about that, like how this motivated you into this space and work that you do now.
So I ran like a plastic free online business. Since I set it up in 2018, and I always gave kind of talks and workshops about all areas of plastic free living, and everything I sold was reusable, refillable. But I was always really passionate about periods, and I discovered like the cloth pads, and I started stocking them, and they started opening up the conversations with people. So I started off doing markets, and people would come over and they'd be like, "Oh, what's this?" And I'd be like, "Oh, so it's a cloth pad. So it works the same way, looks the same way." And I remember my first market, I answered so many questions about them, but I didn't sell any. But I'd opened up the conversations, I'd answered people's questions. And then the next market, the next month, a couple of people came back and they were like, "I was here last month, so I'm going to actually just buy one to try." And then some people just exclusively use these now, and they use reusables. One of my friends hasn't used any kind of disposable product in 7 years. So,
Wow.
yeah, which is amazing. You know, so I was like, do you know what? I'd really love to. Unfortunately, for such a rich country, period poverty is a real issue here in Ireland. And the government did bring in this incentive, so the libraries get free period products. Every public library has free period products.
Okay.
That get given to them by the council. So the local councils get a budget from the government. They buy the products, distribute them to the libraries. So the libraries always have. So anyone could go into a public library bathroom, take what they need, as much as they need. And it's completely free, and they're always there. They're always available. But they're all disposable. And I was thinking, I did a talk with some girls in Trinity College about plastic and disposables. We were talking about, they were working with a company in Cork. They're called We Are Riley. So they make organic cotton pads and tampons. They're an amazing company. So Trinity College, these students had funding to supply 3 bathrooms in the entire campus in 3 of the buildings with free period products. So the students were able to take them, whatever they needed. And they were in all the toilets, and then the funding ran out. And then ran out. And then that was it. People were left with no access to these products all of a sudden. Whereas if they were reusables, they would have at least been able to use them again and again and again. Like these can last for up to 5 years. It's the same with period pants. Menstrual cups and discs can last for up to 10 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they're really, over time, they're a really cost-effective option for people, and they're healthier as well. And then I just started thinking, why should a student have to go without? Why should they have to choose between not having anything or a toxic, always plastic pad, which There's a study done a couple of years ago where there was like heavy metals found in tampons. How many brands of tampon was it? Like stupid amounts. It's different brands.
Wow.
And there's all these toxic metals and chemicals, like high levels found, which is really scary. So, like, why should a woman have to choose between not having anything or stuck between a rock and a hard place?
Yeah.
So then I had such a great feedback over the years to the cloth pads that I decided to, and I loved giving talks and workshops, and I loved opening up the conversation specifically around periods and women's bodies and all the rest. Over the last 5 years, I've had so many conversations with people and I really loved it. And I thought, well, why don't we try and get this into schools? So I designed a workshop. It's called Navigating Periods with Confidence. So it basically covers, and it's surrounded by, it basically covers everything. The whole point of it is to open up the conversation around periods, because the more you destigmatize something, the more you talk about something, the less of a taboo it is. And we've come a long way recently in terms of mental health and opening up about that, and it's benefited so many people. And one of the things that I bring into my workshop is I get the students to write down and think about different topics, discussion, private topics and open topics. And then we go through their list and we have a look and we have a discussion around what private topics could we benefit by opening up about, and a lot of that would be sex, periods, family issues. Mental health is a really good example of a private topic that has had huge benefit for people by talking about it openly. And then like once you put it to them that way, they're like, well, yeah, okay, yeah, like you always feel better after talking to your friends about stuff. Do you know what I mean? It helps you feel a little less alone. And the more, and that can be empowering as well. So it starts there, knowing that you're not the only one going through this, and it can like relate to anything, whether it's parenting, periods, sex. Like there's someone out there who is going through the exact same thing that you're going through right now. You're not alone. And I suppose it's one of the best things about the internet is knowing that it's so easy to find those people now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like in my mum's day growing up in like, so, I mean, she was born in 49. So like they didn't have those resources and everything was such a taboo.
Yeah.
And it still is here in Ireland, but the more we talk about it, and it's like using different language, opening up about the importance of language as well. And like, there's so many different words out there for period. There's so many different words out there for the vulva. They're all designed, and some of them might be funny and, it's a bit of crack, it's a bit of fun, whatever. Some of them are really entertaining. Okay. But at the end of the day, those words exist as a way of silencing women.
Yep.
Because, and some of them can be really derogatory. And I think we need to try and like wrestle that back,
Yeah.
There's the see you next Tuesday word. A lot of people don't like it, but, it's a great word.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that it's all sometimes referred to as like the C word, because the C word to me is like, and like the vulva and cancer are two completely different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You cannot. I don't want to. Here's me. I don't want to say it now because I know a lot of people like get offended by it. But like the see you next Tuesday word, like it's just another word for the vulva, and it's a great word, and it's a really strong word.
Yeah.
I think we need to kind of take it back
Yes,
You know,
because it's part of our bodies. I think I love that you brought that up.
bodies.
Yeah,
And
and that's where your diagram comes in. So you go in and you're talking to these young girls, a lot of like what middle school, high school age kids, but you're also
yeah,
talking to the
from the age
boys
of like
too.
7 and
Okay,
boys as well. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and you bring
And you
this.
know what? The boys are so curious. They're
Yeah,
so they have so many amazing questions. They want to know this stuff. Do you know
yeah,
what I mean? They
yeah,
see like the women in their families going through this anonymously. Bleh.
yeah,
Every month, sorry, I got my words jumbled. Every month, and they've no idea what to do. They like what?
yeah,
How can they help? Is there anything they can do? And there's so many amazing questions. I did a talk a couple of weeks ago with 5th and 6th class boys and girls. So they would be from age 11 to 13, right?
yeah, yeah.
And the boys are present for the first half of the talk and then they head off. And then the girls kind of tend to open up a bit more.
Sure.
But the boys had some really amazing questions. And I was going through the symptoms of premenstrual syndrome. And I was like, so boys, now that you know that all the things that the women in your household are experiencing every month and what they're going through, how do you think, what ways do you reckon that you can, because there are ways that you can help them, but what do you think you could particularly specifically do to help, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And one guy was like, stay out of the way. Don't annoy them.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it can be as simple as that, you know?
Yeah. Don't be difficult.
Don't be difficult, you know, just stay out of the way. But it's such a simple thing, and like they were so funny, and they were like, oh, okay. And then I was explaining, like, I was like, you could go to the shop, and I mean, you might need to go to the shop someday and get like pads and tampons. And they were like, what's a tampon? You know, they're so like, they're only 11, 12. So
yeah.
But now they know what tampons are. So they know more than most men.
But you present it. Yeah, you present it to where they are.
Yeah. That like 11-year-old boys now, this 12-year-old boys that I spoke to probably know more now than their fathers do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, and you presented it in an educational way, in a safe environment with facts. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love I keep referring to your diagram because it's this knitted diagram of women's organs, and it's got all the layers. It's got the vulva, the clitoris. It's got everything in there. It's like, this is a part of how women are made. And this is a part of our bodies. And how do let's talk about how these things function. Let's talk about respectful words and language around them. This isn't scary. No one's head's going to explode. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you educate and come in from that approach of creating education, inviting questions and curiosity, you remove stigmas, you remove stereotypes, you remove these sarcastic, because people create sarcastic things around things that they're uncomfortable with, that they're defensive about, that they don't understand. If we can create an education and a knowledge, then they feel empowered. Then they understand it's a game changer. And we have missed
for sure.
Yeah.
You know, stand to them through anything and everything in their lives. You know,
absolutely.
If they know, they get to know their bodies. Like, and one thing I really drive home in my talks is that doctors are amazing. There's some amazing doctors out there, but you know your body better than anyone else. It's like a parent, it's like talking to a parent. You know your child better than anyone else.
Yeah.
So doctors, at the end of the day, they're amazing, but they're human, and human error happen. And unfortunately, there's a lot of medical gaslighting, especially in the area of like women's health.
Yes.
So the more that you know about yourself and the more that you talk to people, and the more that you realize that what you're experiencing is perfectly normal and you're not alone, you know, you have that information and you can go in with that information, and you can, and if you have someone in your corner, even better, whether it's your mom. Another thing I always state is it's always important that we have some person in our lives, even just one person that you can go to and you can talk to, and that they will fight your corner for you.
Yeah.
They will help advocate for you if you can't advocate for yourself. Whether it's a best friend, an aunt, could even be a teacher, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in terms of like health. It could be in terms of like your school, anything. It could be in any area of life, you know. So it's just opening up the conversation and taking back a bit of the power.
Yeah.
Because women's health is like, we've got a long way to go.
We do.
Long way. Yeah.
And that's why we have to have these conversations, and we have to have, I'm like, the first time you explained this to me, the first time we visited, and then I was just like, how do we put Amy in a bottle and put her in all the schools around the world? Because what you're doing is so important and so necessary. And it's like getting upstream from a problem. Like, instead of being reactionary downstream, let's get upstream and educate and empower on the front side. And that creates more opportunities to remove stigmas and stereotypes and create safety around these conversations and empowerment. And also for boys, you know, and that grow into men, that they understand how to support and show up and have empathy and curiosity, you know?
Yeah. I mean, most of them are probably gonna, Jesus, some of them might end up being gynecologists. Do you know what I mean? Like they need to do this stuff. And they need to have empathy. One really good example of how opening up the conversation can really help. So again, going back to that small country school where I was talking with the boys. So the boys left the talk, and it was just the girls. There was only a handful of girls. So they were between the ages of 11 and 13. And one girl was like, she was like, she opened up. She was like, I have my period. She was like, it's really kind of daunting knowing that I'm like the only one in the class who has my period. And then another girl was like, oh, I have my period. And she was like, oh my God.
Oh, wow.
She was like, I'm not the only one. Oh my God. And they were so happy. But like, if it wasn't for that talk or that workshop, they would never have known that the other is going through what they're going through, and they would have continued to feel so isolated and alone.
Yeah.
And the joy in her face, just knowing that she wasn't the only one out of all her group of peers that was experiencing this.
Yeah.
And it was lovely. Like, there's so many little things like that in each of the talks and workshops, and I'm constantly learning, learning from the kids as well.
Sure.
One thing, really interesting thing, and I'll tell you now, we never stop learning, right? Because I learned that when we're born, our inner labia, it's there, but it actually, once we reach puberty, it grows.
Oh.
Yeah. And then when we reach menopause, it shrinks again.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why.
I didn't know that.
I mean, we're not born with it being like the size it is. It actually grows throughout our lifetime, and then it shrinks back again. And I was like, wow, 37 years old, and I did not know, but now I know. So you never stop learning. Like, you know, I think, and it blows the kids' minds. Like, I talk about this with the teenagers more so. I'm like, the clitoris, which you'll learn more about, wasn't actually included in medical texts until 2006.
My gosh.
Because it wasn't deemed as like an important part of the female anatomy. And it's like this.
Because, you know, pleasure is not important. We're not supposed to feel pleasure. We're not supposed to,
literally like there's, it's like a gland.
Yeah.
So
Wow. And we didn't just get clitorises in 2006. We've had them since time began. So
I
I
know.
mean, and I told you that. I mean,
Lady Garden.
like, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's an example. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, you and I we talked about this on the panels. I've talked about this on other conversations with my friend Dr. Fanny Label and Jaron, the people that I literally did not know I had a clitoris or what it did until my early 30s. No one ever told me because of all the stigmas that exist around sex and sexual health and periods and how our bodies work and having babies and pleasure and all the faith spaces and cultural narratives that pour into what's appropriate to talk about and not talk about. And it's like, this is all part of how we're made. And if we understand that and know that and educate everyone about that, we can talk about it in an educational, respectful, honoring manner and also realize, oh gosh, there's something literally in our bodies designed for us to experience pleasure. So if, for me and my belief system, if God put it in my body, I'm sure he meant for me to use it.
We experience so much pain. It's the least we deserve,
Oh my gosh, when you are giving birth, absolutely. Oh my God. But period, any woman across the board, I mean, period, for all the things we go through, periods, menopause, none of us escape that. It's another example, but when I know I keep turning back to your diagram, but it makes it approachable. It's not this cold picture on a wall. It's very friendly. It's very,
I don't even know if you can see, she has like a little, cervix up at the very top there. With attention to detail. So the company that I work with, they're called F.E.E.L. They're based in India.
Okay.
They have crocheted these.
I think anybody who's teaching about this part of to kids in their health and how their systems and bodies, all the parts work, should have one of these because it breaks it makes it when you're pointing to a picture on the wall, people are uncomfortable and if you have this kind of knitted and you present it, this is the layers of how things are created. It takes away all that fear and weirdness.
And what blows students' minds is that this is pretty much life size.
Yeah.
Now, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
When it's inside, but it is essentially the size of your fist.
Yeah.
And so many of them are like, what?
Yeah.
But she is literally tiny but mighty. She's one of the strongest muscles in the female body.
Yeah.
Because she literally supports life.
Yeah.
And she can be a right pain, literally. But it's
also too, it is fascinating. And I'm going back to the fact that this is a life-supporting form in our bodies and how much power is within that. It goes, it kind of it's not always about the size. There's so much power that exists within us in so many ways.
It's like my daughter, something so small can create so much aggro. Sorry, Juno.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
She's like a carbon copy of me, so.
Oh, it comes around, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. She does and says stuff, and I get flashbacks.
Yeah.
To me when I was that age and doing the exact same thing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. So this is what it's like on the other side of that.
This is what it's like on the other side. It was I made this. This is my responsibility.
Oh my gosh.
But she's only 8 and she's so curious and she's full of questions, and I try to answer them for her as age appropriately as I can. But she's just so curious. The kids that age really are. My son is 10. And I used to hand out like feedback forms to all the students. They're completely anonymous. Questions are, what age are you? Do you have your periods? What age were you when you started your period? What products do you use? Do you ever struggle to afford period products? And then I get their feedback on how they felt coming into the talk and after the talk. And then like when I'm going through the forms and entering in the data, like I'm seeing the ages that some of them are when they're getting their periods, and they're like 8 and 9.
Wow.
Which means that potentially there's some girls in my son's class who've already started their period, and it's just really sad. There's girls my daughter's age out there who've started their period, and it's really unfair, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the average age I found is between 11 and 12.
Okay.
Which is still quite young.
That's even changed, because I think when I was growing up, I was 12, almost 13. It was like the summer before my 7th grade year. Yeah. And I think at my age, 12 to 13 was the average. So and there's a whole conversation around what we put into our bodies and the hormones that are in them,
the food and stuff.
Our food impacts these things starting earlier. And because it's one thing, there's a lot of beautiful parts to it, but also we want to make sure that it really starts when it's meant to, and being able to meet them. And so being mindful of how we're not just feeding ourselves, but our kids, and the impact those things have on their bodies and their development, I think is a big part of this conversation, because emotionally, that's really something for an 8 and 9-year-old. It's a lot for a 10-year-old. I mean, when I was growing up, I had a few friends that were in 4th grade here, you turn 10. Yeah, that were in 4th grade that started their periods, and they were way ahead of everybody else. And those poor girls, I mean, they had their periods first. They got boobs first. I mean, all these things. Yeah. And because we weren't having these open conversations with girls and boys, the kind of teasing and things that they had to put up with that comes from not knowing, that comes from stereotypes, that comes from stigmas. If we can get this education in these hands, we're saving those kinds of things from happening too, that really are hard, and that we're, you're figuring out what to do with this changing body of yours, and you're not always emotionally, maturity wise, at where your body is. And so having as much support and safety and education as possible for you and the people in your circle is so important.
Yeah, it's so important. And like one thing that I talk about in my talk is I talk about the different changes that they've noticed, not just in themselves, but in their friends. And I try and drive home the fact that everybody develops at a different age. Yeah. Like you will get there eventually, and don't feel bad about your body. If you're the first one or you're the last one, you'll get there eventually. It's like learning to read. You're not going to leave school not knowing how to read. Do you know what I mean? Like you get there. Whether you're struggling at the moment, you will get there. So I think it's so important, because there's so much change going on, and then they're noticing all these changes, and then as they get older, some that might be late bloomers might start to be really self-conscious about it. It's
I was just going to touch on that piece. Then at the other end of the spectrum, you got the 14 and 15-year-old that's like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to start my period? And they're
and it's just I don't know which is worse or which is better. Do you know what I mean?
I know. But that goes back to like creating these safe spaces so they feel seen, known, and heard, and not feel judged and ashamed and embarrassed. I mean, so many of these shame and embarrassment and not feeling safe narratives get planted at such an early age, and then we carry them into adulthood. And we're left to unpack and unravel them later if we ever do. So and so as adults around these kids, it's important that that we're mindful as adults on how we talk about these things and how we educate so that we don't feed into the fear and the narratives and the stereotypes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a multi-generational complex thing that
Yeah.
can really be simplified if we can embrace it and embrace this is part of our body, this is part of our makeup. Don't we want to understand how our heart works, we want to understand how our lungs work, we want to understand how our brain works. We also need to understand how all of our organs, sexual organs, periods, all those things work too. It's all part of the system. Education in every area is empowerment and important.
It all has a knock-on effect through every aspect of your life, you know.
Absolutely.
So I was reading something the other day that this day and age is the hardest. It's the hardest age in terms of parenting since for like World War I or something.
Oh wow.
Because we don't have that village of people around us.
Yeah.
You don't have, it's so isolating, and then you're dealing with technology, and that's a whole other kettle of fish. There's so much conflicting information out there on the internet. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You're a bad parent if you do this, you're a great parent if you do that. And then one other website is telling you the opposite, and it's 90% guesswork anyway.
Yes.
No one really knows what they're doing. And that's actually a really empowering way of thinking about it. It's like literally know what we're doing. We're all, and it's funny, like I remember in my 20s looking at so it would have been like early 20s looking at these couples with kids, and I was like, wow, they've got their shit together. They're so mature, and now I'm that age, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And like technology keeps changing, and so apparently it's now is a really, really hard time to be a parent, because not only do you not have that village of people to rely on, you're both out working, you're not being able to show or like spend as much time with your child, and then you have this whole other side, this technology side. Half of it's telling you you're doing a good job, the other half is telling you you're a shit parent. You've got imposter syndrome and mom guilt, and then you have to deal with technology and cyberbullying. And like, are they allowed to play this game? Am I the world's worst if I let them play this game? And like, they're not supervised. It's a minefield.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think giving them the information about their bodies and like bringing like age appropriate sex education back as early as we can to like 9-10-year-olds. It's just going to benefit them in the long run. It's so important nowadays. They say it's really important that you teach your kids the right words for the genitals.
Absolutely.
Right terms, instead of saying, and this is one thing that I talk about in my talk as well. I get them to shout out, the students to shout out different words for the vulva.
Yeah.
That's a hard to have slang words and stuff like that. And even if there's kids from a different country, I'm like, what do you call it in your country? But yeah, teaching them the proper terms for their bodies, like that's start, and you do that from the age of like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not one bottom, it's a vulva.
Yeah.
Even nowadays, the vulva, it's called the vagina. The vagina just makes up one part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's also not even being educated or understanding what's all in there. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think it's starting to open up the conversations early in an age appropriate way, obviously.
Yeah.
Is the only way forward. Yeah. I think this country is definitely working on that for sure. And I honestly, I thought that I would experience a lot more pushback about my workshop than I have from the schools. Now, some schools have been like, no, thanks, we're just going to do it in-house. which is a shame because the kits get sponsored and then I distribute them through my talks. So it's not actually costing the schools anything. And the students get reusable products. But I still have some schools coming back to me. And to be honest, more often than not, there's like the religious ethos to those schools.
Sure. Absolutely. I was going to say, it's the private Catholic schools, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying what it is.
Yeah, so there's still, like, in Ireland, there's still that good old Catholic guilt and that stigmatism surrounding women's bodies. I think it was like back in the 70s, the Bishop of Dublin wanted to ban the use of tampons, or back in the 50s or something in Ireland. He wanted to ban the use of tampons because he thought that women were... I can send you on all this information afterwards, but he thought that women were basically getting pleasure out of using tampons and that it would ruin them for their future husbands.
Oh my gosh. I mean, these are examples of stories and stigmas that exist out here. And you're from Ireland. In the US, we run into the same issues, roadblocks. There's conversations that are happening, and then there's places where people it is worldwide. It is worldwide. Wow. Okay. So talk to me about how your why and your values inform how you parent, doing this work, the boundaries that you set, how you and your partner operate, how you show up in the world, and the importance that is, because you talked about earlier, as a parent, there's so much information out there that it's a minefield. And so you really need your why and your values foundation to help really guide you and be your compass.
Yeah. And I think it really helps having like a really good partner as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like partner, not man-child. Like, I sometimes, like, I turned around to Ross, God love him. Like, I turned around to him the other day and I was like, how are you, no offense, but like, you're so competent. Like, I don't understand. Like, but like, he just does his share of parenting and housework. And he's known as competent. It's just crazy. It's like we were talking, it was like the WhatsApp group for my son's class.
Yeah.
We were talking about the Easter holidays were coming up. This is just an example. And the parents were like, the mums, it's all mums in these groups, because none of the dads are in these groups.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, thank God, no lunches for the next while, And I was like, oh, it's not really an issue because Ross does the lunches in the morning because he's making lunch for himself anyway.
Uh-huh.
And one of the women was like, God, I don't even think my husband would know what to put in a lunchbox. And I was like,
wow.
Sandwich.
20. I know. This is a rocket science.
Like, how are you so competent, Ross? Like, how? And like he does and then our elderly neighbor's daughter met him in the supermarket one day. And he was doing the weekly shop like he always does.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh my God, like,
who is this unicorn?"
My husband would. I don't think my husband ever stepped foot in the supermarket to do the weekly shop. And Ross is like, "Oh, I do it every week." He's like, I do most of the cooking as well. She was like, You cook as well? He was just like a fucking god. And he does do most of the cooking. We got into the habit of it because, like, when I had my shop, I was in the shop really late. He'd get home. I'd close my shop, do the school pickup, have the kids with me in the shop for the entire afternoon. He'd usually get home before me. And he'd already have dinner on, and he would be up in the mornings making himself lunch. So he'd make him lunch. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to justify this. Like, I do loads as well.
But isn't it interesting though that is considered in this day and age in 2025, that's considered a rarity? Because I'm similarly blessed. My husband likes to cook. I don't. My husband we have 3 daughters, and people would walk up to him all the time and be like, oh, 3 daughters. He's like, I'm batting 1,000. I love it. I wouldn't trade this for the world. I'm not seeking or wishing for sons. These they're great. And he's been a fabulous girl dad, but also like he was raised, and this has probably got to be your husband's case too, is he was raised by a mom and dad, but mom who was like, there are no gender roles in this family. You're all going to learn how to do everything. There were my in-laws, especially for their era and time, were a very, very equal opportunity couple. There was no patriarchy happening in that house. And my father-in-law had been raised in a home where he was the only child and had been absolutely doted on by his mother. Yeah. And my mother-in-law my mother-in-law and father-in-law started dating in 7th grade. So he was very clear on who she was. And she was like, let's be very clear. I am not your maid. I will not be doing your laundry. I will not be up after you. We will both share in the duties and responsibilities. Now, she did a lot. She stayed home after the kids were born. She was a teacher, stayed home, but she was much like what you talked about earlier. She's like the house was a mess because she was playing with the kids and she was teaching the kids and she was doing stuff with the kids and everybody. So Brady, my husband, never expected me to be, he never saw me in this domestic role. And it was very clear early on, like, that's not who I am anyway. So it's a good thing. But I say all that to say is you and I are considered fortunate to have, why isn't this just, but this, I will tell you, this goes back to what you and I were talking about and the education of getting into kids in schools, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, talking to them about their bodies, talking to them about what's happening, talking to them about what is appropriate language, what is not appropriate language. If we can present, and it sets the whole narrative for all of these other stereotypes.
You're going through once a month. These are ways that you can help them.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally if you get shouted at.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can maybe make the lunches that week, or you make the dinner, or I mean, just, there's just a different way if we can, it's simple things that start planting seeds with these kids early on how they view and support each other and removing these, traditional gender roles. I mean, the fact that and it happens everywhere. It's like this WhatsApp group is all moms. I mean, my husband used to take our kids to daycare in the morning, and he would stay at the daycare and play for with the kids. And they're like, I wish we could pay you enough to hire you here because he was the only guy in the house sticking around and playing. He'd stay, he'd read stories, and I'm like, don't you have to go to work? But he was raised in a family where it was set up early, the understanding. So it does matter in the education that and how we start these kids at an early age in breaking these stereotypes that happen later on.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And this really goes nicely into living out of our own expectations versus others. You all have set up and communicated with each other and others your expectations. You're not living out of others. Is this a kind of a space and place that you've always lived from, or is that something you had to learn and grow into?
Me and Ross?
Just you, period.
Oh, I suppose like everyone, I used to be a bit of a people pleaser. But yeah, since having the kid, and it's funny, since having the kids, and really, myself and Ross, we had the kids, and then we've only been married since 2018. But it was when we were getting married, I was like, okay, this is forever. So if there's anything that we want to change now, going forward, we need to just lay it out on the table. This is all in my head, by the way. We didn't actually do this. But in terms of like boundaries, when it came to like our families and stuff like that, that was kind of when I put them into place. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is our family unit. These are our priorities. And, you know, we need to, it's okay. And I keep, and like, he is such a people pleaser sometimes as well. He's really thoughtful, almost to the detriment of himself, in that some people can take advantage of how much he gives. And so I have to keep reminding him that it is okay to say no. And you can blame me. I'll be the dick. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm too angry for this.
I got other more important things to focus my energy on.
The more important things.
Exactly.
So, it's a learning curve every day.
Yeah.
You know, like you never stop learning.
Yeah.
You never stop growing and adapting, and your relationship's always changing. Every relationship in your life. And it's trying to navigate it as best you can. Everyone's just doing their best.
Yeah.
Do you know? Unless you're Trump. He's not even Trump. I'm sorry.
No, that's the best thing you've said all day. We are not editing that out. He is too much of everything.
He is too much of everything. Yeah, he needs to sit the fuck down now. Excuse my language. You can cut that out. It's fine.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
My God, I'm just so tired of him. Like the whole world is tired of him.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I have to really monitor, you know, in terms of my own expectations of like, I have none of him and nothing but bad. And for myself, like for my husband and my husband has more aptitude to take in more content a day than I do. So I will get to my intake, I mean, on him in a day. And I'll have, if he's still into, I'm like, I'll step out or go to a different room. I'm like, okay, I've maxed out here. I can't, do any more. And
I've reached my level of stupid for today.
Exactly. It's overflow. Done.
My cup runneth over.
With the wrong thing. I need to empty that cup out and refill it with some good. Yeah. Oh my God. No kidding.
Where's my smutty audiobook?
There you go. Exactly. There you go. I gotta escape now. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, in going into the next talking point, embracing our layers. This is it. This is embracing all the pieces and parts that make up who you are. You've been able to navigate that whole, like, fully wide open, wholeheartedly acknowledging that you're learning and growing every day, naming all the things you're experiencing. Do you feel like when do you feel like you moved to that point? Because we talked a lot about topics and areas that we experience stigma and shame, and we have to really move through and move past and not let them impact how we feel about ourselves. So talk to me about your journey with that.
Like everyone, it probably started from childhood.
Yeah.
You know, every kind of, there's things that happen to us in our childhood, like not necessarily bad things, just things that we experienced that we either told someone about or kept it to ourselves. Like when I was, I don't even know what age I was. I used to play rugby and I slipped one day and I think like I tore my hymen. I think it was 11.
Yeah.
But I did splits because it was raining. And I was like, oh, ow.
Yeah. Oh.
But I never told anyone about it. You know, I just kept it to myself. And I always wonder, like, was it?
Yeah.
You know, because when I was like 17 and having sex for the first time, it didn't hurt. So Maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no one that I can talk to at at that age. So,
Right.
That is like one layer that I just kept to myself, and then stuff just built up over time, different experiences, and and then as you get older, I especially like if you ever have kids, you kind of just have to leave your dignity at the door of the labor ward.
Oh, 100% you do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just. I think it was when I had the kids. I just stopped caring. I'm like, I'm in too much pain to care.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't care. One of the doctor that gave me the sweep like 8 hours earlier was coming back after his break.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming back for his shift the next day. He was like, "Oh, you're still here." And there's me like pushing mid-push, and he's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Get out,
go away."
But at the same time, I was like, I don't give a shit.
I know. I know.
Baby out. You just, and then you just kind of from that, then, you just, especially bringing up like my own daughter, my own son, just trying to navigate their experiences and not shame them for things.
Yeah.
Like little boys love their willies. They love the penis from an early age. I really wasn't expecting that, but like, they're trying to figure out a way to explain to them that there is a time and a place, and that it's okay. It's okay, but there is a time and a place. And even flushing the toilet. Do you know what I mean? Like washing your hands. It's like trying to. You're re-experiencing your own experiences through them, and it's kind of like, okay, this is how it should have gone, or hopefully I hope that if this happens to Juno, she can come and talk to me about it. Or if Finn is upset about something, he can talk to me about it, and they are great. They will come in and they will take one of us out of the room. Finn usually takes Ross aside if he needs to talk to him about something, and Juno takes me aside, and so they're really good at that.
Yeah.
But we have to keep drilling it into them that like they can talk to us, and we would rather that they talk to us like, we're not going to get angry if we hear it from you, but if we hear something from someone else secondhand, then we're going to be annoyed and disappointed that you didn't come to us, and we want you to know that it's okay that you can come to us, and we won't get angry. I think that's really important. So you're kind of just, it's funny seeing all these different layers of theirs.
Yeah.
As they
and how they intersect with yours.
Yeah. And like, I really hope I'm not, instilling a little bit of rot in that layer right there. That's going to scar them for the rest of their life. It's really, it's just, you're just navigating it as best you can.
You are. I love how you talked about those creating those safe spaces and those open communications. That's going to set them on such a healthier trajectory, because things, we're finally starting to open up. I'm like, being silent about these things and treating them as embarrassing or shameful serves no one. It just, and it's nonsense, but it's narratives that have been around for generations that we've got to break and improve on. And own that piece of it. And also something I've learned to own, I've got 3 grown daughters now, is I did the best I can. And also I know a lot more now than I did then. And the reality is they may need some therapy. And I completely acknowledge that I am sorry for anything you need therapy for. And also please go, because I want you to be well. And even though I did the best as I can fully acknowledge I didn't get it all right. And just like living in that space is even kind of freeing. Like both can be true. Yeah, absolutely.
No one is perfect.
Now,
I mean, I think it's like, I suppose I never felt that I couldn't talk to my parents about things, but I just didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. not because they were like, oh no, 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 blah, 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 blah. Like if I needed
Right.
to talk to someone, my mum would have been there, but I just never went to her about like
Yeah. Well, I
anything
think
when I
there's
was
a lot
younger. And I do
of
now.
sure.
It's funny, I do now. But yeah, since parenting, and even now, like we're looking, our parents weren't perfect either.
Yeah.
Are we perfect? No, but no one is. And it's only when you have kids you realize no one really knows what they're doing.
The mirror.
If they just grow up to be kind, well-rounded individuals, then it's all you can hope for, really.
Absolutely.
As long as they're happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we can wish for.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
It is hard.
It is hard. It is hard. And
There's no blueprint.
Yeah. No, there's not.
No.
And I think just owning that too is freeing and removing the pressure from yourself.
100%. Yeah.
Talk to me about, as we wind down here, in living out F.E.E.L, what I call F.E.E.L, finding empowerment, embracing layers, which you have done and are doing every day. Talk to me about the impact that has had on your relationship with yourself, as well as your relationship with other people. And you've talked already about how you've learned to say no and set boundaries. So you already have seen the impacts on relationships, how you and Ross really share the load, and he's truly a partner. But talk to me about that F.E.E.L journey and the impact on those relationships with yourself and others.
I think for the most part, it's been really beneficial. It's kind of by being a little bit selfish and filling my own cup. It's given me the opportunity to give a lot more back to like friends, family, the kids, Ross. Yeah, I think it's we're not necessarily brought up that way. We're not conditioned that way. So it is about unlearning what we've been brought up to do. And I know self-care is like such a buzzword now, and like mental health, it's come a long way in the last 10 years. Do you know what I mean? Like self-care to some women used to be doing the weekly shop for a bit of me time. Do you know what I mean? Like, whereas now it's just going to the gym or putting on your headphones, getting out into the garden, just doing something small for you. It doesn't have to be big, something small for you. I think, and like I haven't done anything drastic really, it's been small, simple little changes, gradual changes that have built up to like bigger kind of well-being, I suppose, in terms of like my mental health and stuff. I kind of struggled a lot when after Juno with postpartum rage, and I had to put a lot of work into that. Yeah. Into managing that. And also one thing, like just, so it's had a good, like by me, I've seen like what my mum went through when we were growing up, and there was just no help for her way back then. And like I still take Lexapro, escitalopram. I've taken that since COVID. Actually, I started 2 weeks before COVID hit. Me too. Time. But I spoke to my doctor countless times, and I'm like, I just don't. Like even now, like I still feel that rage inside, especially if I don't get enough sleep. Yeah, and it's always connected to my cycle, always. And my doctor I said it to my doctor, like I'm on the lowest dose. And I was like, I don't think I ever want to come off this. And she was like, you never have to come off it. She was like, it really helps some people. Like, like we change so much throughout our lives, especially like I think pregnancy really does, it changes your brain completely. It changes your entire body, but something changes in your brain when you become pregnant, when you become a parent. Yeah. Yeah. And like having to relearn who you are as a person before you had kids, letting some things go, embracing others.
Yeah.
Really hard. It's really hard, especially in the early days,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but then as like the kids get older and you're kind of taught again that you need to be everything that your baby needs all the time. And well, that's just really not the case. And like the more that I have embraced outside the box, being like, okay, I can't sit under this child while she cluster feeds for hours on end. I can't. I just need a break. Well, I'm going to supplement with formula, and that is okay. And that doesn't make me a bad parent. I'm not going to ruin health. I literally just need to use the bathroom and hand her over to someone for a couple of hours for my own mental health. And spend some time with my toddler. Do you know what I mean? And this is my way. I don't have a village to take over, unfortunately, but this is my way of managing that. Switch to formula for one feed so someone else can do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
absolutely.
You have to kind of make little adaptations for yourself, for your own well-being.
Yeah. Well, that really impacts too how you're able to show up. Like, you want to be able to show up as your most, fulfilled, authentic self, and that requires tending to what it is you need, and so that you can show up that way. And I'm glad you spoke to that. That was such a great example, because nursing is hard and it's time consuming, and also supplement. Yeah, I did too.
I hated breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I thought it was like I was under the impression that I was all that my child needed, and that my boob was
the all
like
encompassing
answer to everything. But when she was crying, if I tried giving her, the boob, Juno would like slap it out of the way, almost like, get it out of my face, like, not now, it's not what I need. It was never it was just sustenance to her. It was never like, she never used me as like a soother. But I was under the impression that all breastfed babies just needed like just boob in their mouth, cures every ailment. But that really wasn't the case. Hated breastfeeding. I really did.
Yeah. And I think just that's another conversation of things that we need to talk about as moms, and what's available and what we can do. I had, conversations with my doctor as I went on of like, okay, to this point, it's helpful. And then after that, it's okay. Like my second one, we supplemented with formula. She's fine. She's fine. And my child. The youngest, my oldest, would not take it. We tried when I went back to work. She wouldn't take it. But we learn as we go, and we find the things that work for us that allow us to be our authentic selves in these seasons. And that requires tearing down in our minds all these thoughts. And that thought is not truth. That's something I need to release, and I need to, relearn and adopt what's actually true for me and well for me.
There's like going into that new age of parenthood that you've never experienced before, and you're stumbling in the dark, having the information about knowing your body and knowing yourself and knowing your mind, and having all that information that you learned from an early age, it will also help you navigate that as well, because there's a lot out there that makes young women and young mothers feel really shit about themselves and really bad about themselves, and you second guess yourself, and if you're not careful, you can spiral. Like I said, there's so much information out there now. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's no one is perfect. You just have to do the best you can. But like, you know your body better than anyone else. You know your baby better than anyone else. And the more you know and the more you learn about yourself growing up, the more you advocate yourself growing up, the more you can advocate for your kids when it comes to that stage. If it comes to that stage, you know, advocate for yourself throughout your life and advocate for other family members as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a knock-on effect.
Yeah. It's such a domino effect. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
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 So
and definitely, especially for the men as well, you know.
Yes.
Boys,
100%.
this is how you can help your sister, your mother at this stage. This is how you can help your wife.
Yeah.
This is how you can help your partner. You know, this is how you can help your daughter. Or, like it all adds up.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It has an impact. Absolutely. So good. So good. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate your honesty and authenticity in that, because those are the things we need to say. These are the kinds of topics where women feel like they're the only one that feels this way, and then they feel so bad. And it's like, no, you are not alone. And we're talking about it now. We're going to talk about it and remove
there's someone else out there.
Exactly. So we can create these safe spaces to have these conversations and remove the shame that comes with them when we feel like in the isolation, like, you know, creating the safe spaces. Thank you so much. All right. We're down to the rapid fire.
Okay.
Name 5 activities that nourish you.
Listening to books. I love swimming in the sea. I love it. The Irish Sea is cold.
Yeah.
Especially this. It doesn't really warm up until September, but it's really, really lovely, and I really like it. Anything with Pedro Pascal, you know. Yeah, love it. Yeah, audiobooks. I love escapism. I love a good fantasy TV show. I really love just simple things like going out for dinner and a movie with a friend, or even, you know, going out for a couple of drinks with Ross. Date night, which we don't get to do very often, but it's really like it's really nice reconnecting, you know, even just for a couple of hours. It's just, or even going out in the morning. What we do in the mornings is, now that the weather's really lovely here the last couple of weeks,
nice.
We'll get out of bed instead of lying in bed. We'll get up, we'll make a coffee, we'll sit out in the garden, and we'll just sit there. We don't necessarily have to talk, but we just sit there and we enjoy the garden and we enjoy the sun, soak up the sunshine, and love it. It's so simple, but like really sets you up for the day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you said earlier, those simple things add up. They have impact.
They do add up. They really do. I love the DIY as well.
Yeah.
Take the right kind of headspace to get into it, but once you're into it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wind me up and let me go. Got my paintbrush. Love a bit of DIY. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So good. All right. 5 words on how you want to feel the next 6 months.
Well rested. Working on it. Healthier in my body. I want to be pain-free. Which sounds like a lot, but it's not really.
Yeah.
God, what else is there? Yeah, I mean, if I keep going the way I'm going, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Life is good now. It's the simple things. Yeah. Not like people say they can't understand women, but we're really not that hard to please. Like, you know?
Yeah. Ask a few key questions.
Yeah. Just buy me a plant, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Don't interrupt me when I'm listening to my audiobook.
Don't interrupt me when I'm listening and cleaning the toilet. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just healthier for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's we all want to strive for, but I definitely
Yeah.
want to, I'm hoping in the next 6 months that I will be, if not pain free, then a lot less,
Yeah.
worse than I am now.
Yeah.
So that's all I can kind of think of at the moment.
That's perfect. That sounds great. I know. That's the focus, man. That is important. That's a priority.
Yeah.
I love that. All right,
Yeah.
Amy, tell people where they can find you, follow you, learn more about you. And all of this will be, of course, on our resources page at embracinglayers.com. You can also go back to the panel that Amy was on with us earlier in the year, and her information is in the show notes of that YouTube channel, but you'll be able to go to both places now. So, but talk to people if they want to know right now.
So you can find me on my website at youme.ie, youme.ie. And from there, you can find me I have links to my socials. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on TikTok. I'm also on LinkedIn. If you'd like to connect there, I don't really use LinkedIn an awful lot. I've got aversion to it, but like I'm there.
Okay.
It's like Instagram is a love-hate to it.
I know. That's how I know. It's like the necessary evil. Almost sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And especially if you run a business, like it's just necessary. Like having it. I wouldn't have Facebook if I didn't have the business page,
Yeah.
Instagram and TikTok.
All righty.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for today. This conversation was so good, so authentic, so important.
Man, thanks so much. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I did too. And just thank you for how you show up in the world. I'm so thankful to know you. My favorite part about this work is getting to meet people like you that I would never know otherwise.
Yeah. And I recently I completely forgot about Podmatch. And I just signed into it again. I didn't realize that a subscription had bounced or whatever. Subscription. But also, I only started a new job 2 months ago, part-time, like 3 days a week. And then the talks have been ramping up. So I haven't really been doing, I've just kind of put the podcast side of things on the back burner.
Yeah.
So I really need to get back into that now. Hopefully I'll be able to I'll be finishing up with school talks in July. So give you a bit more time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I really enjoy it. Like
I know.
Talking about it.
Well, this is how we change narratives. I mean, this is how we, it's opening up and being honest about our experiences and inviting other women into this and letting, us, and making sure we know we're not alone, and that's the takeaway this week is, ladies, we're here to talk about these things. We're here to be honest about them. We've got resources that we want to share. Invite other women into it with us. We're all doing the best we can, but also it requires us to be participating. Think about that thing that really makes you angry right now. What can you do about it? How can you be a participant? What narrative can you, in your corner of the world, we can't all solve everything, but we could all use those narratives and those things that are really, really bothering us. Use it in a way to impact change in your space of the world.
Even having conversations with your kids.
Exactly.
You're the next generation. So having this conversation with your kids, it's enough.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Your little making a difference.
Yeah. That's a great example.
It's such a simple thing, though, but a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah.
Just I don't know, I'm going to go off on a ramble now if I don't stop. But it's
more impactful than I think we sit down and realize. Yeah.
It's better. And it is, and it can help them to it can help them definitely, it empowers them to identify people that might be good for them and might not be good for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, like they're also one of the scariest things to me is that Finn. He's got such lovely little boys in his in his class. Like some of the older boys in another class, they're so different, and I can't even imagine how he would be if he was in that other class. You know, the older
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of strong personalities, and he's so sensitive, and he's so thoughtful, and I think the world needs more like him. But
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
really hope that I can identify that to him, that it's okay to not want to be a part of that group.
Yeah.
Do you know
And
what I mean?
calling out those things in him as strengths and not
Yeah,
believing the narrative, the stigma, the lie that
yeah,
it's not strength.
hmm hmm
So important for little
yeah.
boys. So important.
We're dealing with roadblocks now at the moment.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We promised him he could have it when he was 10. He turned 10 back in March, and he's like,
Oh.
"Would you promise?" And we're like, "Yeah." But the more we read up about it, the more we're like, "No."
Yeah.
So
Parents
no,
have a right to change our minds.
yeah. But then he'll go to his cousin's house and up to his friend's house and watch them
Yeah.
play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to stop him from doing that. He
Yeah.
will be exposed to some things, but
Yeah.
it's not going to
Absolutely.
stay.
Yeah.
So
And you can control that.
yeah. And
Exactly.
I'll sit down and I'll play Minecraft with him for as long as he wants, or a month,
Yeah.
because I can control them.
Yeah. No kidding. That's so true. Such a good point.
And like I like games. I thankfully I'm myself and Ross will be quite tech savvy as well.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I grew up playing the PlayStation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
it's a way
there's
to
so
connect
many
with your
other
kids.
games out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show them to you.
Yeah.
You don't need Roblox.
Yeah.
You don't need all those predators. We've got Crash Bandicoot.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So that's my next hurdle now. That's what we're like. Thankfully, myself and Ross are both like
United.
we're always sending each other stuff like about Roblox, and it's like, it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you so much. Take good care and have a great rest of your week.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello, Melissa Crook here. Thank you so much for joining us on the F.E.E.L podcast today, Finding Empowerment, Embracing Layers. I hope you found today's framework and resources supportive and informative. To learn more about all that we offer here at the Embracing Layers Network, visit embracinglayers.com. You can go to our contact form to schedule me as a speaker for your next conference, workshop, or seminar. You can go to our book page to order our book that Jessica Garrison, our wonderful and talented writer and author, authored with my support. And engage with this framework in written form, with your journal, or in a book club with other women, inviting them on this journey with you. You can look at our resources page for all of the helpful and insightful resources our guests offer and share. You can find the schedule for our weekly Together We Feel women's panel conversations that we're holding each Monday on our YouTube channel. And you can find the links to all the spaces and places you can follow, engage with us on social media, and join our engagements that are happening on our Substack site. There is also a donation page where you can donate to support our work to ensure we can continue to bring you these incredible guests, conversations, and support. Thanks again for joining me this week. Share with your friends and give us a review on your favorite listening platform. Your feedback helps us ensure we're bringing you the content that will best support you and having an empowered, embracing layers journey. Take good care, and thanks for giving us some of your valuable time today. We truly appreciate you so deeply.